Newcastle United, the biggest club in the north of England, have won 4 league titles and 6 FA Cups. However, it's been over 65 years since their last major domestic trophy, and after more than a decade of anger at the previous ownership from the Newcastle faithful, new owners and a new manager in Eddie Howe have injected some much needed optimism at St James's Park. With money to spend and an ambition to fight at the top of the table once again, both domestically and in Europe, we kick off our brand new FIFA 23 career mode with Newcastle United. So we're going to kick off by checking out how good the squad is looking. And to be fair, looking at the spine of the team, we've got Nick Pope in goal, we've got Sven Botman in central defence, we've got Bruno Guimaraes in central midfield, and then Alexander Isak up front. All 80 plus rated players, pretty much going to be at the heart of everything we do moving forward in this career mode. The problem is the strength and depth of the squad. Starting at left back, we've got Matt Targett. The problem is we've only got Dummett and Lewis, both 73 and 72 rated as backup. The same is at right back as well. We've got a decent right back in Kieran Trippier, but pretty much not really much going on in terms of depth apart from that. In central midfield, we've got a decent central midfield 3, but then the only backup we've got is Jonjo Shelvey, rated 77. And then in terms of our wingers, we've got Almiron and we've got St Maximin, but we've got no one else really who's going to challenge them. So in terms of the transfer market, we're definitely going to be looking at some improvements to our wing backs, both left and right. Going to be looking at improvements in the centre of midfield, and then definitely going to be looking at improvements both right and left wing. However, as we are going to try and keep this career mode as realistic as possible, you can see we've only got 71 million to spend and a lot of players to bring in. The thing with Newcastle is though they've got a lot of dead wood to shift, so I'm hoping by adding all of these boys to the transfer list, we'll hopefully be able to raise a few extra funds that I can add to the transfer pot. First things first though, before I do dive into the transfer market, there are a few things that I need to sort out to begin with. The first one being both St Maximin and Almiron as well. I said that they are pretty much the only 2 wide players we've got at the club that are half decent. For some reason, both of them is listed as midfielders rather than wingers. So I'm going to go straight into the development plan, change both of them up and turn them straight into wingers. Next up, we're going to check out the board objectives heading into Season 1. And to be fair to FIFA, for the first time ever, I think most of these are pretty doable. Starting off with youth development, want me to sign several youth players pretty much in all the positions across the squad. In terms of brand exposure, get a streak of 5 games without defeat and sign 1 crucial first team player. Absolutely no problem. Want me to finish mid-table, reach the semi-final of the FA Cup again. Both of those things I think are doable. And financially, well, they want me to reach a profit margin of 129 mil, but again, it's very low, not a priority, and I think the majority of these are doable. And last but not least, we're going to check the youth academy out, and unfortunately, it only really looks like we've got 1 half-decent player in the academy, and that man is Agyamang, rated 44 at the moment. He's only 16 years of age, but he does have 4-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot, and a high attacking work weight with potential of 94. He's already got a decent agility and balance, so pretty sure he is definitely going to be one for the future. So I'm going to promote him to the senior team, and he's also going to go straight on the loan list. And of course, last but not least, we've obviously got to set up our youth scouting network. Now, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and try and bring in 2 new scouts, and I'm going to go big and spend the most amount of money here because I do want to make sure that I bring in the right youth players. Once I've done that, we're going to set up 3 different scouting networks. The first one's going to be in England. Going to set up for about 6 months, and we're going to be looking for physically strong players. And I'm going to keep that theme across the other 2 networks as well. So we're going to look in France for physically strong players, and we're also going to finish off looking in Spain as well. So we're going to have a good mix across Europe, and hopefully that'll allow me to appease the board and bring in a multitude of different types of youth players. Anyway, enough talk about board objectives and youth scouting networks. It's time to start getting through these transfer listed players and start offloading some of this dead wood. So the first man out the door is this man, Sean Longstaff, literally being directed out the door by Eddie Howe. 6.4 mil, and he is on a one-way ticket straight from the Toon all the way to Florentina. Outgoing number 2, Emil Kraft, 4.1 mil, he goes straight to Wolfsburg. Paul Dummett's next, 2.3 mil to RB Salzburg, and he's followed by the outgoing Chris Wood. 7 million we got for him in the end from Mainz in Germany. I'm pretty happy with that deal considering he's 30 plus. The backup right back, Javier Manquillo, he's off next, 3.6 mil, and he's taking a one-way ticket on the Eurostar to France. He's going off to Lyon. Jonjo Shelvey, he's the next man out the door. He's the second man to be joining Wolfsburg, this time for 8.5 mil. That was an offer I could not refuse. Jacob Murphy follows him up, 3.4 mil to Augsburg, and then Matt Ritchie's out the door. He goes off to Leicester for 2.2 mil. And finally, Loris Karius, the man mostly known for his complete gaffe in the Champions League final for Liverpool, he's off to Fulham for 1.4 mil. And finally, a couple of my younger players, Alex Murphy, he goes off on a 1-year loan, as well as Jamal Lewis, he goes off for a 2-year loan to Celta Vigo. But enough about the outgoings, it's now time to focus on the incomings, and as you can see from my budget, there has been a lot of money being spent this summer. And we're going to kick off with this man, the man who's been absolutely terrorising Premier League defences for the last year or so. A 14.6 million buy from Crystal Palace. It is that man, Michael Olise, the 20-year-old from France. He's rated 76 overall, left-footed, got 4-star skill moves and absolute bags of potential to go with it as well. He's got fantastic physical skill sets, some decent mental ones, and also some very, very good technical ones as well. But as you can see, he's starting the game as a cam, but I have changed the development plan to focus more on being a right winger so he can provide Almiron with a little bit more competition. Next up, it's a backup right back for Kieran Trippier, and we travel all the way down to the south of England to Southampton to pick up Tino Livramento for 4.9 mil plus Ryan Fraser as well. He's only rated 75, but he is 19 years of age. He's got, again, bags and bags of potential. You can see he's got a 4-star weak foot, so that is very, very impressive. He can defend, he can attack, he's got decent physical stats, he's got decent technical stats, and I'm also going to change his development plan to focus more on being an attacking wide back, not just a defensive right back. On to transfer number 3, and this time it's time to focus on the other side of our defence. And so we're going back into London now, and we're going to go off to Tottenham to bring in this man, Ryan Sessegnon, 76 rated, left-footed, 22 years of age. He's another young English talent. He's got 4-star skill moves, decent weak foot, and he's got very high attacking work rate. As you can see from his physical stats, brilliant, got decent mental stats, and he's also got some decent technical stats as well. So next up, the plan was to look for someone who can play on the left wing, and I thought I'd found someone when I travelled all the way over to Italy, to Sassuolo, to bring in Hamed Junior Traore. As you can see, we did agree a fee for him of 32.3 mil, but the problem was, when it came to his contract, his agent was having none of it. Stopped me right in my tracks, not interested in what I've got to offer him, and in the end, the deal fell through. So that meant I then had to travel all the way to Belgium to Club Brugge to try and agree a fee for my second choice in Noah Lang. 29.4 million negotiated later, and he was going to be the man that I was going to bring in the door. However, we hit the same roadblock. Came to the contracts, agent having absolutely none of it, in spite of me offering what I thought was a pretty good deal. The agent stopped it dead in its tracks, and then we have to move on to our third target. And with us seemingly having absolutely no luck whatsoever in buying any players from abroad, we've come back to England and we've gone to Nottingham Forest to bring in this man, Brennan Johnson. 11.6 mil was the deal that was agreed. Now normally he plays at right wing, but he can be transitioned to a left winger. He's currently rated 75. He's got decent skill moves, and he's also got 4-star weak foot as well. He's got a really high attacking work rate. He's got absolute electric pace, and he's also got bags of potential as well. However, for signing number 5, I was eventually able to make my way out of England all the way over to Portugal, to Benfica to be more precise, to look for this man, Enzo Fernandez. 34.9 mil from Benfica. He's a central midfielder rated 78, 21 years of age, and my word, what an unbelievable signing he has. Look at his stats. He's 70 plus in absolutely everything. I've changed his development plan so that he is a box-to-box midfielder. He's got decent skill moves. He's got 4-star weak foot. He's high attacking and high defensive work rate, as well as having brilliant physical, mental, and technical stats as well. At 21 years of age and 78 rated, he is definitely going to be a central midfielder that is going to hopefully lead us to glory over the next 5 or 10 years. And with Jonjo Shelvey now sold, that meant I did have space for one final signing, my 6th summer signing this transfer window, and it was back over to Italy, to AC Milan to be more precise, to sign this man, Tommaso Pobega, 15.3 mil, 23 years of age, 76 rated. He's 6'2". He's an absolute powerhouse in the centre of midfield. Like Enzo Fernandez, he's got 4-star weak foot, and he's got very high attacking and defensive work rates. And just like him, look at his stats. Unbelievable physical, mental and technical stats as well. And similarly to all of my other players, he has absolutely bags of potential to grow and develop. So here's how we're looking going into the first game of the Premier League. And as you can see from my starting 11, to be fair, it hasn't really changed too much. The only man who's actually been able to come straight into my starting 11 is this man, Enzo Fernandez. He comes in place of Joe Linton. But if you go all the way to my bench, you will see what an unbelievable difference that has made. It is absolutely stacked to the rafters of young British and foreign talent as well. And I think this will put us in a much stronger position to hopefully qualify for Europe this season. As you can see, tactics-wise, I'm going to stick with balance, as I often find a lot of my players end up getting absolutely knackered if I change that. Depth, we are going to push up a little bit higher, so I'm going to shift that all the way up to 70. In terms of our offense, I definitely want a faster build-up, and rather than having it balanced, I want more forward runs from all of my players. And with the strength in depth we've now got out wide, I'm definitely going to shift this to 70 to provide more width going forward. So here we go then, on to game number 1 of this Newcastle career mode. And as you can see, we are heading all the way down south, back to Southampton, the same team we raided in the summer for Tino Livramento, to kick off game number 1. The starting 11 that will kick us off this season is pretty much similar to the one that I inherited. Nick Pope in goal, Trippier, Shah, Botman and Matt Targett in defence. Joe Willock, Bruno Guimaraes and Enzo Fernandez coming in for his Newcastle debut. Almiron, Isak and St. Maximin all starting as the front three, with all of the rest of my new signings on the bench. Sven Botman trying to drive into space here in the centre of the park, lays it off to Alexander Isak. I'm going to try and go all the way out wide to Almiron. It's a really poor pass. Salazar trying to be chased down by Isak there, but he does a really good job and hands it off to Gineppo down this left-hand side. Where on earth is Kieran Trippier? No idea. Isak just decided to stop running, and Gineppo keeps going. Trippier in the end with some good defending. Oh, what on earth is Nick Pope doing here? This is very, very dodgy, but very calm and collected goalkeeping. Tries to dink that one over to Sven Botman, and he does just that. Botman tries to bring this one forward into Enzo Fernandez. Nice little ball to Willock. Willock's going to lay this out wide to the left-hand side to Almiron. He's going to now try and check in field. Go for the finesse. It's a great strike. It's off the bar. Almiron picks this one up on the right-hand side. Tries to go to the right-hand side further to Trippier. Dinks it in. Can we get ahead on it? No, we cannot. Blast now for Southampton. It's pretty much been all Newcastle so far in this game. And Bruno Guimaraes with a good interception, but ends up then giving the ball away. Ward-Prowse gives it into McLaren. He looks out wide to the left-hand side to Gineppo. Gineppo turns really well, gives it back to him, and Southampton take the lead here inside the St Mary's Stadium. It's horrendous defending, and after a really positive start from us, we end up giving the first goal away. Diallo now for Southampton. Blas has it back from him. Blas trying to shield the ball, and he does that very well. Gineppo, the danger man, almost gave it in there, but fortunately we managed to win the ball back. Enzo Fernandez now into St. Maximin. Going to try and twist and turn to get around the defender, and he does just that. Willock now lays it out wide to Kieran Trippier. This is a very, very good opportunity for us here. Can he find the right pass? Ends up giving it to Enzo Fernandez. Not exactly what I wanted. He turns away well from the defender, strikes with his left, straight into the goalkeeper's arms. Gives that to Enzo Fernandez. Nicely shielded. Gives it to Bruno Guimaraes. Now Isak now has it. Tries to give it back. Does give it back to Bruno Guimaraes. Tries to strike straight at the defender. Bruno Guimaraes into Matt Targett. Enzo Fernandez, who's been busy so far in this game, but hasn't really been able to fashion too many chances. Willock with a beautiful ball into Kieran Trippier. Where on earth, what on earth is my midfielder doing? It should be 1-1. Willock now goes back out wide to Kieran Trippier. Going to try and put a ball across. He does. The defender gets there first. St. Maximin into Enzo Fernandez. We're knocking at the door early doors in this second half. Bruno Guimaraes tries to shift it onto his right. Does just that. Finesse. Good save. Kieran Trippier with the corner. Tries to whip that one in. It's a good ball. We can't get anything on the end of it. Tries to bring that one forward. Gives it to Diallo. Diallo with a nice ball into McLaren. Now, Perud now has it. He lays it back off into the path of Blas. Nice work here from Southampton, but an even better challenge from Sarr. And now he can drive forward. He's got options ahead of him. Chooses to go to the left-hand side into St. Maximin. He now drives forward, checks back. Has he got any options in the box? He does. He looks for Willock. Willock's going to try and turn. Has the momentum gone in this move? It has, and he strikes just over the bar. Salazar. Nice turn away. Gives it to Diallo. Diallo plays it out wide to Justin. Nice footwork from him, and he's going to look for a lovely ball right over the top. Blas gets there first. Wonderful stuff here from Southampton. McLaren now being chased down by Livramento. Turns him really well. Gets it onto his right. Goes back onto his left, though. Dangerous stuff here. Almost. But Nick Pope manages to mop that one up in the end. James Ward-Prowse into Blas. Perud now has it. Shah is there with a solid challenge. And it's a first touch from Sessegnon into the path of Brennan Johnson. It's his first touch as well. Guimaraes now goes all the way out wide to Livramento. It's his first touch. And it's a wonderful touch into the path of Elise. Can he put a ball across? He can. Not into the right player though. Ryan Sessegnon now into Guimaraes. Guimaraes now out wide to Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson's going to try and shift this onto his right. Can he do enough to get past Kyle Walker-Peters? He can. Enzo Fernandez now to Willock. Willock's going to look for Elise. Just couldn't find him. Gives it to Botman. This is pretty much going to be the last chance of the game. Gives the ball away. And that is so poor. And are we about to start this new season with a defeat? Perud now brings it across. Goes all the way out wide to McLaren. He picks it up. Literally, we are way above the allotted time. Diallo strikes. Good save from Pope. And the referee blows his whistle. We do start off this season with a defeat. It's a really hard one to take. We were the better team here in Southampton, but it just wasn't good enough. They beat us 1-0, and it's a long old road back up to Newcastle with no points. Next up is another away game, this time against Nottingham Forest. One change to the team that lost to Southampton. Pobega comes in for his debut in place of Joe Willock, who drops to the bench. Again, this is a game we absolutely must be winning. Omar Richards on the left-hand side for Nottingham Forest, trying to drive forward, showing some really good pace, but Pobega with his first challenge of the game, and it's a brilliant challenge from him. Matt Targett skips away really nicely from the Nottingham Forest player, now drives forward into the centre, gives it to Enzo Fernandez, nice little twist and turn from him, and he's found himself a nice little pocket of space, but ends up giving it to Pobega. He turns, gives it to Fernandez, trying to shift it onto his left, goes for the strike, great save from Henderson. Kieran Trippier with the corner inside the opening 10 minutes. Can we get there first? No, we can't. Lingard picks it up for Nottingham Forest. Awani now has it, doesn't have too many options. Is he going to look out wide to the left-hand side? No, he's not. Tries to check back in, and he does just that. Dennis into an on-rushing Lingard. Matt Targett is there. And Nottingham Forest have a man down, and it is Jesse Lingard, their man of the hour. And it's horrible news for him, but in the grand scheme of things for this game, it's probably positive news for us. Goes out wide to the left-hand side to Matt Targett. He finds Enzo Fernandez. He's picking up some really nice pockets of space so far in this game. Bruno Guimaraes shifts it onto his right, and it's another brilliant save from Dean Henderson. Kieran Trippier with another corner here. Goes short. Just couldn't get our head on it, but for Enzo Fernandez will pick it up once again. Sven Botman now shifts it out wide to Trippier, onto his right, whips a ball in, can't get on the end of it. Can Fernandez do so? He can. It's now out to Shaw. He's looking for options on the right-hand side. Doesn't have any, so he's going to go all alone by himself, and he manages to get it all the way out wide, whips a ball in, and once again, it's headed away. Oh, Bruno Guimaraes with a wonderful challenge there. He's going to look all the way out wide to the left-hand side to St. Maximan. He nicely goes past the defender, goes to try and whip a ball in. It's a great ball in. It's an even better head, and it's a great goal from Almiron. He gives us the lead here. It's our first goal of the season. It's his first goal of the season, and we lead here at the City Ground 1-0. Aurier goes down the line. Oh, it's a wonderful ball to Dennis. Manages to get the better of Matt Targett. Renan Lodi with the strike. Nick Pope easily collects that one. Looks for Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes going to look for Pobega. Driving into the box. Can he get there first? No, he can't. It's poor clearing from the goalkeeper. And in the end, Isak does not do enough. Into Enzo Fernandez. Just twisting and turning, trying to get away from the defenders. And he does just that. Isak now tries to pass that forward into Guimaraes. Tries to shift it onto his right. He does, and he puts it into the back of the net. It's so simple. It's a brilliant way to open up this second half. 5 minutes in, Bruno Guimaraes gives us a second goal, and we lead here 2-0. Trying to drive down the left-hand side, and he's doing a wonderful job of doing that, but he doesn't have any options ahead of him, so he has to check back inside for Gibbs White. Gets it back from him though, and in the end finds Dennis. Nottingham Forest playing some really nice football here into the box, and Dennis with an absolute howler. Almiron tries to cut inside, and he does just that. Bruno Guimaraes now, just trying to shift that onto his right, away from the defender. Now he switches it onto his left, and it was almost a brilliant piece of play from Bruno Guimaraes, but now Dennis has it, trying to counter-attack for Nottingham Forest. It's Renan Lodi. Good defending from Shah. Well, Isse, the substitute, nicely done. Gives it to Bruno Guimaraes. He finds Joe Willock. He's going to try and look for Brennan Johnson against his former club. Drives into the box. Going to hit it with his left. Oh, my word. Oh, Nick Pope. That was a bit dodgy from him. Ends up giving it straight to Awani on the left-hand side. Puts it into the box. Shah is there once again, but he still has it. And in the end, Shah almost gets in the way of Nick Pope there. Nottingham Forest playing some good stuff here. They drive into the penalty area. End up giving it back to Awani. He now gives it off to Avalia. I think that's what his name is. Frula picks it up. Gives it back to the striker. And eventually we just about crowd them out. Pobega now gives it to Joe Willock. Joe Willock really nicely away from the defender. gives it back to Pobega. He tries to shift it onto his left, does just that. Willock's in the box. Good block in the end from the Nottingham Forest defender. And that is that for the end of the game. It finishes here 2-0. We had ample opportunity to get perhaps 3, 4, even 5. We don't take it, but in the end, we get the 3 points. That's the most important thing. We finally are able to kick off our campaign. It's the first 3 points in the bag, and hopefully we send home the Newcastle faithful very happy. And we follow that up with another positive result, a 3-0 win away at Wimbledon in the League Cup. Joe Willock getting on the score sheet, Brennan Johnson getting his first in a Newcastle shirt, with Callum Wilson rounding off the 3 goals in the 78th minute to give us a very, very comprehensive win, and we sail through to the next round. And we're going to finish off this episode with our very first home game in this career mode, finally. But what a home game it's going to be at St James's Park against a massive Tottenham Hotspur team. In spite of the loss against Southampton, with the likes of Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Kulusevski, this is definitely going to be our first real and major test of the season so far. Bentancur for Spurs, trying to drive forward, only has Kane as an option up ahead of him, and he does manage to find him though. Kane with a lovely turn away from Sarr, and eventually Sven Botman is just about there to absolutely hack that one away. Perisic with the throw. Gives that to Bentancur. Spurs on the attack early doors inside the first 10 minutes of this game. Lovely ball into Heung-min Son, goes for the power shot, and Shah was just there in time. Son though gives it to Kulusevski. Pope sort of just kind of parries that one out, but in the end just manages to get it away from Heung-min Son. Pobega trying to turn away from Bentancur, isn't able to, but manages to give it to Kieran Trippier. He finds Shah. He now gives it into Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez tries to twist and turn away from Basuma. He manages to find Pobega, who manages to find Bruno Guimaraes, and eventually he's just about crowded out. Harry Kane lays that off to Kulusevski on the right-hand side. Nice little turn, gives it back to him. Can he get it back? He can just about keep it in play. Nicely done. Basuma back to Kulusevski. This is really nice football from Spurs. Kane into Son, back to Kulusevski, into Kane. It's an unbelievable goal. But fortunately for us, he is just offside, and that is a major, major relief. Perisic, lovely throw into Heung-min Son. Gives it back to Perisic, though. Can he fashion any chance here? Shah, almost. It's all over the shop. Kulusevski, great save from Nick Pope in the end, and Matt Targett is just about going to try and dribble this one away. Bentancur, oh, nicely done from Sven Botman there. Gives it to Isak, tries to turn away from the defender, strikes with his right. Great save from Lloris, and that is our first proper chance of the game so far. Trippier with the corner, going to try and whip this one into the penalty spot. Isak gets his head on it, and Lloris with a big, big save. Perisic, nice throw into Son, gets it back from him. Kane now has it on this left-hand side. He's trying to look for options. Instead tries to drive onto the left-hand side. Kieran Trippier reads that one really well, though. And now we can counter-attack with Enzo Fernandez, and the referee just blows his whistle for half-time when I didn't want him to. Matt Targett tries to drive down this left-hand side, and he does really well. And he's actually he's unmarked and lays a lovely ball into Enzo Fernandez. He tries to get past the defender. He does just that. Can he find a ball in? He can. It's brilliant play. And Alexander Isak gets his first goal for Newcastle in this career mode after some wonderful build-up play. Fantastic play from Matt Targett, and Enzo Fernandez, the man of the hour, with lovely, lovely footwork. Skipped past Eric Dyer, played a lovely ball, cut back into Isak, and he could not miss from inside the 6-yard box. We lead here at St James's Park. It's 1-0. Basuma for Spurs tries to dink a ball all the way out wide to Son, and that is a wonderful ball. Son manages to get hold of it, but Pobega is too strong for him. Pobega trying to drive forward now. This is great play from him. He has been brilliant so far. Picks this one up. Lovely ball into the path of Enzo Fernandez. And he puts it in the back of the net. He's got an assist. And now he's got himself a goal. It's a brilliant finish. And within the blink of an eye, we take a 2-goal lead here at St James's Park. Fantastic play. And it's an even better finish. Enzo Fernandez opens up his account for Newcastle United, and he will be absolutely delighted. Longley with the throw for Spurs, gives it to Perisic. Son down the left-hand side. He's really been the danger man for Spurs so far in this second half, but he just can't seem to find a way past Kieran Trippier. And once again, it's brilliant defending from the former Tottenham man. Into Pobega. He tries to lay it off for the substitute Elise. He's going to go all the way out wide for a lovely ball into the other substitute, Ryan Sessegnon, to put it across the box. Mate Maximin, what on earth was that? Elise now picks it up, strikes it with his left, just wide of the post. Eric Dyer for Spurs tries to bring this one out of defence, and he does just that very, very nicely. Tries to lay a ball all the way down the left-hand side to Kulusevski, but Kieran Trippier once again defending brilliantly. Dinks this one over the top to Ryan Sessegnon, another former Spurs man here against his old club. He now drives down this left-hand side, showing great athleticism. Can Basuma try and get hold of him? No, he can't. Going to try and throw a ball in, and in the end, straight into the arms of Hugo Lloris on the right-hand side. Gives it back to Kulusevski, and the referee blows his whistle. It finishes here 2-0 against Spurs at St James's Park. I said at the beginning of the game that was going to be our biggest test so far of the season, and we have absolutely passed it with flying colours. We send the Newcastle faithful home very happy. 2-0, 3 points in the bag. And that is where we're going to end this episode. 3 games in, we sit 5th in the Premier League table with 6 points to our name after a very frustrating opening day loss against Southampton at the St Mary's Stadium. As you can see, we've got Brighton, who sit 20th in the Premier League table, up next to kick off tomorrow's episode. But if you have enjoyed this one, please feel free to like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you again next time.